And a surprising move tonight for Senator Bernie Sanders. He's calling on Congress now to end U.S. funding to Israel over its war against Hamas. Sanders saying, while we recognize that Hamas's barbaric terrorist attack began this war, we must also recognize that Israel's military response has been grossly disproportionate, immoral, and in violation of international law. And the results have been catastrophic. Joining us now is Congressman Moskowitz. He's joining us tonight. Congressman, first of all, what's your reaction to what Senator Sanders said there in that statement?
No, thanks, Abby. Thanks for having me on. Well, look, I think the senator is misguided. We don't support a country or its people based on a leader. He attacks Netanyahu and Netanyahu's right-wing government and makes his whole statement about one person. And I think the United States' support of Israel in its entirety is bigger than one leader. Certainly, as an American, I still supported this country and Americans when Donald Trump was president, who I did not support. And so I think Bernie's misguided. I also think this logic is going to cause all sorts of problems for the humanitarian aid that we need to get to the innocent Palestinians in Gaza, because people are going to start this conditioning battle. If we're going to condition Israel to aid to Israel, then people are going to want to condition the humanitarian aid that people in Gaza desperately need. And quite frankly, it's just disappointing to see Bernie, give in to some people, quite frankly, that, if Bernie's family was in Berlin in the 40s, they wouldn't have come and rescued him. That's who he's aligning with in this thought process.
Conditioning U.S. aid to other countries is not a new concept. Are you arguing that this is a military aid to Israel no matter what it does in any particular conflict?
Well, look, I have faith in President Biden, who has put immense pressure, and Secretary Blinken, who will be going back to the region, who will continue to guide the Israelis on, quite frankly, what the next step are. Because I think that is very important. I think we have to bring the Arab world and the Abraham Accord nations to figure out, how we can rebuild Gaza and get back to talking about the two-state solution. But if we start conditioning the aid, military aid that Israel needs to finish the mission against Hamas, who started this war when they ended the original ceasefire, who still has hostages, that is going to send the wrong message. What kind of message do you think Iran is picking up right now, watching Bernie Sanders talk about conditioning aid to Israel? So this is a very dangerous conversation. And I think it'll have repercussions beyond, the current day-to-day situation in Gaza, which is absolutely horrific. No one wants innocent Palestinians to be dying. But remember, Hamas is the one responsible, not Netanyahu.
Hamas is certainly responsible for the attack on October 7th. I think one of the things that Senator Sanders is pointing to, and he mentions this in his statement, he also mentions Netanyahu, but he talks about how the war is being carried out. It's not necessarily about Netanyahu specifically. CNN and other outlets have reported about the IDF's use of 2,000-pound bombs that produce really extraordinary death tolls. The fact that so much of Gaza is uninhabitable right now. People are basically starving to death, according to international agencies. What is the United States supposed to do to reduce those kinds of outcomes other than using the main tool that it has, which is military aid?
Yeah, Abby, it's absolutely horrific. And what we need to happen is we need the war to end as fast as possible. We need the hostages to be released. We need Hamas to surrender. The war is over if that happens. And Israel needs to get out of Gaza, quite frankly. That's the quickest way for this to happen. Is for the hostages to be released and for Hamas to surrender. No one wants this war.
There are some in Netanyahu's government, including the National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, who tweeted that the Palestinians should leave Gaza. And some in your party have called that a call for ethnic cleansing. These are some of the kinds of things that people are seeing and saying, is there another motive here?
Well, look, those comments are despicable, okay? They have no place in this conversation. But, look, in a large party, you have people that say crazy things from time to time.
He's part of Netanyahu's government. He's part of the government.
No, listen, but they have they have a unity government right now, which means all of the parties right now are part of the government. And so, look, I have people that I serve in Congress with. They're part of the government that are in my own party that say things that are wildly crazy, I think, sometimes. And then there's folks across the aisle which every day reach a new low. And so those comments are despicable. We got to make sure that we rebuild Gaza. We have to make sure that we have a two-state solution, and we have to finally use this unfortunate incident to try to bring stability to the world and piggyback off of the Abraham Accords and continue to expand that by bringing Saudi Arabia in. But we have to make sure that when this is over, that this doesn't become a worse situation. Israel has to recognize that they are not getting any of Gaza. Gaza is going to be part of a Palestinian state, and the sooner that happens, the better.
Congressman Jared Moskowitz, thank you very much for joining us tonight.